If you're still watching the years move faster than your progress and wondering if retirement will ever look the way you hoped, this story may show you another way forward. You can work full time, do everything you're told to do, and still find it hard to make ends meet. Day after day becomes the same routine. Get up, get ready, go to work, come home, go to bed, and start over, while wondering why life still feels stuck until one moment makes it clear something has to change. If your full-time job is still keeping you stuck trading time for dollars instead of moving closer to the lifestyle you pictured, this is for you, especially if it feels like the years have passed faster than the progress you hope to make. Now it's about choosing the path that moves you forward. I'm Karina, your dream guide, and here we look beyond the noise on the internet to explore what can create real movement toward working less, earning more, and building the life you still want. Watch until the end to discover what one woman uncovered and how it could open the door for you to leave the work and repeat cycle behind and begin moving toward the dream lifestyle you can still see ahead. If you're feeling the weight of working full-time, struggling to get ahead, and wondering whether there's another way to move toward your dream lifestyle, the link in the description lays out the full picture so you can see how this path works, what is involved, and what to expect before deciding if it fits your life. Before Kristina discovered another option, her days looked like survival, doing whatever she could to keep her family moving forward. Working hard, going nowhere. Kristina spent 16 years as a stay-at-home mom. Before that, she was in nursing school and had taken out $30,000 in debt, but when she had her first son, she chose to leave school and stay home to raise him. Like many mothers, she watched her husband work long hours to provide, and she felt the pressure to contribute. So she did what she could. She nannied children, taught herself how to bake, and built a small baking business from home that she ran for 13 years. She worked 14-hour days just to bring home an extra $30 to $40 to help feed their kids. At the time, she thought working harder was the only answer. And maybe that sounds familiar to you. Maybe you're at retirement age, still working full-time, still pushing through the same routine, but not making financial strides that you hoped for. Spinning your wheels, trading time for dollars, and realizing hard work alone may not be enough anymore. Sometimes your next chapter begins with making a different choice. But for Kristina, the real turning point didn't happen while she was baking. It came when life slowed down enough to make her face bigger questions. When reality hit hard. A little over a year ago, Kristina reached her tipping point. Her youngest son had started grade school and was gone most of the day. Her husband had begun working nights and weekends, and for the first time in years, she found herself asking, what am I going to do now? She had spent 16 years as a stay-at-home mom, putting her family first. Like many mothers, she had always found ways to contribute, nannying, baking, and building a small business from home. But after years of long days and small returns, she realized working harder wasn't creating the future she wanted. And maybe that sounds familiar. For you, it may feel like looking at the calendar and realizing retirement isn't some far-off event anymore. It's the exit ramp coming up faster than you expected. But instead of feeling ready, you're still spinning your wheels at work, watching time pass without making financial strides you hoped for. That kind of awakening makes one thing clear. Doing the same thing won't get you to your dream lifestyle. And that's when something unexpected showed up. An opportunity she almost ignored. Success shows what's possible. Kristina sat on emails for weeks because she knew absolutely nothing about this world. One email talked about a blueprint, and she remembers thinking, a blueprint for what? I'm a stay-at-home mom, not building a house. She knew nothing about making money online, nothing about automations, and didn't even know what a digital product was. Then one day she received a replay of a webinar, and that became her turning point. On that webinar, a man explained that while no one could promise income, if you are coachable, stay consistent, follow the steps, and don't quit on yourself, success becomes possible. That landed deep. For the first time, she saw people just like her making this work, and maybe that's where you are right now. Sometimes seeing others succeed is what makes you realize success could be possible for you too. If you're ready to move beyond relying on a job and start building something that fits your life, the link in the description shows a structured path people your age are following step by step. It explains how this works, what to expect, and how to move forward without guessing or overcomplicating the process. But seeing what's possible is one thing. Taking action is what changes everything. When dreams meet action. Kristina's husband was skeptical in the beginning. Their budget was tight, and neither of them were convinced it was real. She found a way to join, stayed consistent, and followed the system. Within 2 weeks of following the steps the founder laid out in the program, Kristina had her first breakthrough. It was 4:30 in the morning. She was making coffee for her husband before he left for his plumbing job. Like many mornings, she climbed back in bed and started scrolling on her phone when a notification popped up. "Congratulations, Kristina, you just made $900. For a stay-at-home mom who had spent years working side hustles for small returns, that moment changed everything. A few days later, it happened again. And maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe you're at retirement age, still working full-time, watching the years move faster than your progress, and wondering if your dreams are slipping further away. But what if they're not? What if seeing people like Kristina succeed is proof that you can do it too? Imagine what your life could be like without the weight of a full-time job controlling your time. More mornings that belong to you, more freedom to travel, rest, and be with family, or finally do the things you postponed for years. Your dream lifestyle could be closer than you think. It may be waiting on the other side of a different choice. But what surprised Kristina most wasn't the money, it was how she made it. Her story changed everything. What surprised Kristina the most was this. She wasn't out there selling to people. She wasn't chasing anyone, and she wasn't convincing anyone to buy. She simply showed up on social media and shared her story. At first, that terrified her. She thought about staying behind faceless content because she didn't want anybody to see her. She didn't like her voice. She didn't feel qualified. She called herself a hot mess express stay-at-home mom because that was her reality. But what she discovered changed everything. Her story, the struggles, the setbacks, the years of working hard and wondering if it would ever be enough became the very thing that connected her to others. And that story became the foundation of her six-figure income. That's powerful because you may think your story doesn't matter. Maybe you're at retirement age, looking back at decades of hard work, disappointments, sacrifices, and lessons learned. But those experiences aren't wasted. They may be exactly what somebody else needs to hear. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need a huge following. You do not need to know everything before you begin. What matters is being coachable, staying consistent, and following the steps. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway from Kristina's story. Not what she earned, but what she learned. From doubt to direction. Kristina did not start with confidence or certainty. She was skeptical, overwhelmed, and unsure whether any of this could actually work for someone like her, which makes her story relatable to anyone who feels behind or uncertain about starting something new. However, through the process, she developed skills she had never learned before, including creating content that connected with people, understanding how the behind-the-scenes system worked, and building a business by sharing the story she had already lived. More importantly, she realized that she did not need to be polished or have the answers to move forward. She needed a willingness to learn and a willingness to stay consistent. That realization changed how she saw her future. Because now, instead of wondering if life could look different, she can clearly see what's possible. So if you're retirement age, still working and wondering whether life can become more than just getting through each day, maybe the question is not whether it is possible. Maybe the question is whether this is the moment you decide to take a closer look. You don't need to have everything figured out before taking the next step. The link in the description shows how this path works, what it looks like in real life, and whether it fits the future you want to build. And to continue forward, watch the video on your screen next, where you can go deeper into creating more time, moving toward your dream lifestyle, and building a future that looks different from the one you're living now.